Hey folks, Mobile Geezer here with this week's Geezer Bits for Sunday, April 29th, 2018. So I don't really have any new phone news for you this week, so I thought I'd just concentrate on a couple of things that are a bit more serious than what I usually speak about, because I did come across a couple of tech-related stories this week that are kind of on the serious side. So I'll start with what I found while I was doing my normal researching for the Geezer Bits. It seems that there are more and more stories indicating that social media, things like Facebook, Google+, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, are causing or fueling violent acts around the world. I found such stories in newspapers from New York, Dallas, Ethiopia, Sudan, Sri Lanka, and a number of other places. They're pretty easy to find. And whether or not social media is having a direct effect on such acts as the YouTube shooting incident, Parkland, etc., there seems to be more and more indication that social media has some role in many of these incidents. So I just wanted to bring it up. I guess we can only hope that all of the studies and investigations that are ongoing come up with some solid answers that help. Next up, there's a new initiative between Facebook and a group of nonprofit organizations to study the effect that social media has on elections around the world. The organizations will pay the expenses of researchers whose projects are accepted for the initiative, and Facebook will give the scholars access to proprietary data that has met the company's new standards for heightened user privacy protections. The organizations include the Hewlett Foundation, the Alfred P. Sloan Foundation, the Charles Koch Foundation, the Democracy Fund, the John S. and James L. Knight Foundation, the Laura and John Arnold Foundation, and the Omidyar, I think that's how you pronounce it, network. Anyway, it's good to see that Facebook and others are trying to get a handle on people interfering in elections everywhere. Also came across the story that the U.S.-China tariff battle has not yet affected the electronics industry, mostly because components for most all electronics are produced and assembled in multiple countries. Hence, any tariffs would probably affect both countries adversely. So although the tariff fight is affecting a number of industries, so far they haven't specifically affected any technology industries. So we'll see what happens. And though this week I'm not going into the continued problems that ZTE is having with the government, there was a story that Huawei is now under investigation by the U.S. for doing business with Iran, much the same as ZTE. The Wall Street Journal reported this week that the Justice Department is investigating whether Huawei Technologies violated U.S. sanctions related to Iran. It is unclear how far the Justice Department probe has advanced and what specific allegation federal agents are probing. A Huawei spokesman declined to comment, according to the story. But the Trump administration has also cited Huawei, the world's largest maker of cellular tower electronics and other telecommunications equipment, as a threat to American leadership in the race to develop the future of mobile communication. Huawei is also the world's number 3 maker of smartphones. So it seems the U.S. government is continuing to go after specifically ZTE and Huawei. And where this is all going, I don't think anybody has any idea as yet. But it's just sad to see that this is happening. So slightly related, one thing that occurred to me with the ZTE woes was Xiaomi step in trying to fill a gap in America. As of February, Xiaomi was ranked as the 5th largest smartphone maker in the world. So it would make sense that Xiaomi might try to come in the US, considering the problems that both Huawei and ZTE are having. If I were Xiaomi, I think that's what I would be trying to do. So we'll see what happens. And the last thing I had is that this week Xiaomi pledged that their profit margin for cell phones would not go above 5%. If that happens, they promise to return any money above 5% to the customers. So that's a pretty good pledge, and we'll see if they live up to it. Xiaomi has built their reputation on building good, budget-friendly devices, and they have made some inroads in America with some pretty good phones. So that promise sounds pretty good to me. So that's all I had this week, folks. As always, comments are welcome, and thanks for watching. Yeah.